Wages are 69% of total income, and rent, interest, and profit are 31%. But the distribution across individuals is very unequal. In 2011, the poorest 20% earned only 3% of total income. The middle third, 20%, earned 15% of total income, and the richest 20% earned 50% of total income. So the richest 20% get 16 times the quantity of goods and services that the poorest 20% get. .1. What, how, and for whom? What do we produce? We produced a vast array of goods and services that we place in two broad groups: consumption goods and services and capital goods. Consumption goods and services are goods and services that individuals and governments buy and use in the current period. Popcorn and movies are examples of consumption goods. In comparison, capital goods are goods bought by businesses and governments to increase productive resources and to use over future periods to produce other goods and services. A capital good is a factor of production. Examples are freeways and trucks. The figure shows the relative magnitudes of the goods and services produced in the United States in 2012. Health services, real estate, and professional and business services, mainly accountants and lawyers, are the largest categories. Manufactured goods come next. Construction, transportation, utilities, mining, and agriculture are small percentages of total production. Chemicals, computers, and food and drink are the largest categories of U.S. manufacturers. Motor vehicles represent only 4.5% of manufacturing production and barely 0.5% of total production. How do we produce? We produce goods and services using factors of production, which we group in four categories: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Land. Land is the gifts of nature that we use to produce goods and services. It includes all the things we call natural resources. Labor. Labor is the work time and work effort that people devote to producing goods and services. The quality of labor depends on how skilled people are, what economists call human capital. Human capital is the knowledge and skill that people obtain from education, on-the-job training, and work experience. Capital. Capital is the tools, instruments, machines, buildings, and other items, capital goods, that businesses and governments use to produce goods and services. Capital includes semi-finished goods called inventories. Capital does not include money, stocks, and bonds. These items are financial capital that is used to buy capital goods, but financial capital is not a factor of production. Entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is the human resource that organizes labor, land, and capital. Entrepreneurs come up with new ideas about what and how to produce, make business decisions, and bear the risks that arise from these decisions. Entrepreneurs are the engine that powers a market economy. For whom do we produce? Who gets the goods and services that are produced depends on the incomes earned by the factors of production. The incomes are rent for the use of land, wages for the services of labor, interest for the use of capital, profit or loss for entrepreneurs. Wages are 69% of total income, and rent, interest, and profit are 31%. But the distribution across individuals is very unequal. In 2011, the poorest 20% earned only 3% of total income. The middle third, 20%, earned 15% of total income, and the richest 20% earned 50% of total income. So the richest 20% get 16 times the quantity of goods and services that the poorest 20% get. Checkpoint 2.2, practice problems. Problem 1. Describe what, how, and for whom goods and services are produced in developing economies. Solution. What in developing economies? Agriculture is the largest percentage, and manufacturing is an increasing percentage, and services are a small percentage of total production. How in developing economies? Most production does not use modern, capital-intensive technologies, but some industries do. For whom in developing economies? People who work in factories have rising incomes, while those who work in agricultural and rural industries are left behind. Problem 2. A Clinton Foundation success story is that it loaned $23,000 to Rwandan coffee growers to support improvements to coffee washing stations and provided technical support. What was the source of the success? Solution. The technical support allowed Rwandan coffee growers to improve their knowledge of coffee farming, which increased their human capital. The improvements to washing stations was a change in technology and in physical capital that allowed farmers to increase the quantity of washed coffee.